Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked for this week. And I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have a London pen company, and this is the Nona 14 in Bohemian Twilight. We have a Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the red marble. We have a Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the Lapis Lazuli. We have a classic Pens LB5 in the Kouseki. We have another classic Pens LB5 in the Kaen. We have a Visconti St Basil. We have an Onoto, and this is the British Museum Great Court. We have an Onoto, and this is the Magna Carta. We have an Atelier Lusso, and this is the Carina, and this is in the Diamond Nebula. And we have a Jinhao X159. So I think let's go through these pens in a little bit more detail. So this is the very nice Nona 14 from Sean at the London Pen Company, and I have a review of this pen already. It's a really nice pen. The Nona is actually a faceted cap and body. It's not polished, so it saves Sean a little bit of time in terms of producing this pen, because the polishing actually takes up a lot of time when you are a pen maker, custom pen maker, when you're making pens. This is a material from Jonathan Brooks at the Carolina Pen Company, and this is a really a nice size pen. It's got a Bock number 6 size nib on it, and this one is a medium to a broad nib. It's a cartridge converter pen. You can't post the caps on the Nona 14s, they're not designed to do so. But it's actually quite a good size in my hand, and I do like that it has a concave section there that you can see. It just means that your fingers, if they were to slip, will not slip onto the nib and feed, and will not become inky. So for me, that is a lovely pen that I decided I would ink up this week as well. Lots of sort of tealy green and bronzy colours there in that pen, so that's quite a nice colour of pen. The next pen inked up is again one of my old favourites, which is the Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the red marble. I do like this pen. It is very cold to the touch. It is a heavy pen as well. Solid silver, or AG925 sterling silver, and also a granite or marble body there. It is a heavy pen. I think it's 65 to 70 grams in weight. Has a power vac filling mechanism. It's a single reservoir. It does have the quarter of a turn hook safe lock mechanism on there. A slight concave section, not a huge amount, but it's enough to stop your fingers slipping onto the nib. And it comes with a 23 cat palladium medium nib. Now these pens are very heavy. You don't want to post the caps on these because they will be very back weighted. But I do find these are comfortable. If you like the Visconti Homo sapien range of pens, then this is a very similar size. I do like it a lot, but it is a lot heavier. So if you are thinking about maybe picking one of these up, then bear that one in mind, because if you're not into heavy pens, maybe a Visconti Homo sapiens resin pen, if you like light pens, or maybe if you want a pen that's maybe a little bit heavier, but not massively heavy, maybe the Lava series of pens. The next pen inked up again this week is again another Visconti Medici Il Magnifico, and this is in the Lapis Lazuli. Again, solid silver AG925 cap section and power vac knob, but it's got a gold vermeil plating to it. So it is nice, but you do get to see these beautiful fleur-de-lis there. It really is nice. You also get some enamel on that clip as well. And the body here is a lapis lazuli stone Really nice, quite beautiful, really. It is a matte-like finish, though. It's not a gloss finish. But again, it is a nice pen. It is a power vac. It's a single reservoir. It's got the hook safe lock mechanism there. A slight concave on the section, like most of the Viscontis do have. Certainly the Visconti Homo sapien range. And a number 6 size Visconti nib. This is the newer in-house nib, 18 karat gold nib from Visconti. It's a medium nib. This one was a medium nib as well, but it was a 23 karat palladium nib. But again, you can see inside of my hand how this really does fit well. Again, you don't want to post the cap because the cap itself alone is very heavy. And these are heavy pens, so they are just going to be very back weighted if you do try to post those caps. Now, I think this is a pen that the next pen that I haven't had inked up for some time, and it is a classic Pens LB5, and it is the first LB5 that I got. It's the Kouseki. Now, interestingly enough, I have been inking up the Kaen, which is the next pen on the pen tray. But this is a really beautiful specimen of the fusion bonded acrylic. If you don't know, some of the Parker DNAs, I think the original DNAs had this material. Andy Lambrou from Classic Pens was able to also get hold of this material, and it's sheets of acrylic or resin that are compressed together to such a strength, to a molecular level, that they fusion bond together, hence the name diffusion bonded acrylic. Really, really beautiful the way that it's then cut, and you see these lovely sort of chatoyance patterns there. It is a resin, essentially. It's not a celluloid. It's not sort of an elaborate material. It is resin, but it's obviously slightly better diffusion bonded acrylic. But still, it's interesting. These were made by Sailor, that you can see here. Sailor, and you've got LB5, Kouseki. They were made by Sailor, and that's 47 of 50. Only 50 made in each of these colours, and Sailor made these for Andy Lambrou, Classic Pens LB5. I believe Paul Rossi from Classic Pens also made the clips and the trims as well. But these are lovely, lovely pens. So glad that I was able to pick these up and add these to my collection when I did. I only have 2 LB5s. Since then, they have gone to extremely high prices on the used market. I'm glad that I was able to add 2 to my collection. So this comes with a Sailor King of Pen nib. It is a cartridge converter pen. You can post the cap as well. It will post. But these write really well. This is a medium nib pen. Now, the story was, I got this from Sarge at one of the London pen shows. I think it was 2018 or 2017 maybe. And strangely enough, it came with a medium nib, like most of these do. And I really didn't like the nib. So when I started to get a few King of Pens after this, I just went for broad nibs, because I didn't like the medium nibs. I thought they wrote too fine, a little bit scratchy, but it wasn't scratchy. It was just more pencil feedback and quite fine, because a medium in an Asian nib is more like a Western fine. But now I really do like these. Sort of 4, 5, 6 years on, I actually do like the Sailor King of Pen nibs, and I do like the medium nibs. So prior to that, when I started out, I gravitated very quickly into 1.3mm stub nibs. So that's probably why I didn't like the medium nibs, or the Asian medium nibs. I didn't mind a Western medium, like a Visconti nib, because that really wrote quite wet and wrote more like a Western broad. But it just goes to show over time how not only your writing changes, but how you perceive things differently. So now I typically go for medium and fine nibs. So the next pen here is again another classic Pens LB5, as I mentioned. Again, diffusion bonded acrylic that you can see here. You don't notice this as much as the brown. The brown has a lot more sort of chatoyance on it. But again, this is beautiful. It is the classic Pens LB5 made by Sailor that you can see there. Sailor LB5, and it is does it actually, it says Kaen 3850 there. Again, beautiful pen, and I always wanted this red one in an LB5. Unfortunately, when I got the Kouseki from Sarge, I could only get an LM1 at the time. He had just sold the LB5 to somebody on the phone in this red Kaen. So I literally just lucked out or missed out by probably 5 or 10 minutes, even though I got into the pen show on an early bird pass. So that was a bit of a shame, but then that was, I think if we said it was 2018, we'll be talking 2019, 20, 21, 22. I think it was 4 or 5 years later, or probably 4 years later, I was able to secure this one from a friend. Really do like it. Again, another medium nib. This doesn't have the cross point nib on it, like some of the classic Pen LB5s did. This is the Sailor King of Pen nib, cartridge converter pen. Again, you can post the cap as well. Really, really nice pens to write with. If you like a Sailor King of Pen, then you'll probably like these because it is the same nib essentially. The next pen I have inked up is this one, and I probably do need to ink up my Speakeasy, which is very similar to this. Maybe I'll look at doing this on maybe next week's pen video or the week after. But this is basically made out of the same Speakeasy celluloid material, but it is the St Basil. So this one has a real gemstone. It has a red ruby there on the capped finial, some gold cap bands, and this beautiful gold inlay there of St Basil. Brilliant pen. It is a power vac filler. It's a chunky pen. It's got a double reservoir, so it holds about 2.5 milliliters of ink. Has a number 6 size nib there, which you can see has actually got a lot of inky crust on there. I'm just gonna wipe that off a little bit, and you can probably see that there. It looks a little bit better. The ink that I use in here does go a little bit crusty. You can't post the caps on the St Basil or the Speakeasy. Interestingly enough, when I saw the Speakeasy, I really wanted the Speakeasy, but then I saw the St Basil and I really wanted the St Basil, and I decided once I got the Speakeasy I'd never buy the St Basil. And then, as I have said in the past, never say never, because at some point the pen that you want is going to come along at a really good price, and you're going to say, I really can't turn that one down. And that's what happened with this St Basil. So I'm so glad that I was able to add that to my collection. Beautiful writer. It's a 23 cap palladium nib, medium nib, a little bit bouncy, beautiful nib. I do like it a lot. And then the next pen here inked up is the Onoto I want to say Magna Carta. It's not. It's the Onoto British Museum Great Court. Beautiful pen, solid silver as well. You've got the dome of the reading room there, and also you can see that there. An Onoto clip, and this is a solid silver pen, AG95, but it's got this beautiful enamel coating going on there. Really, really quite exquisite. I really do like this pen. Again, like a lot of these pens, I want to say find me, but I actually find them. However, it's being in the right place at the right time. I saw this pen just prior to the London Pen Show last year, and nobody bought it because it was an expensive pen, and I didn't see anything at the London Pen Show, so I decided I would go and buy this pen, and I did. It has a number 7 size Onoto fine 18 karat gold nib. It is a cartridge converter. You can't post the caps on these. They're not designed to do so. And this cap, it weighs almost as much. I'd almost say it feels like it weighs more than the pen. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But it feels like it does. So you wouldn't want to post the cap on the back of the pen there. The next pen inked up is the Onoto Magna Carta, strangely enough. And this has beautiful coin finial there that you can see. Beautiful pen. And it has the beautiful inscription parts of the Magna Carta there inscribed onto that pen. And then you have Magna Carta on the cap band, and then 1215. And then you also have some more inscriptions going on the body there. Not as much. And then you have a coat of arms. This is a cartridge converter pen like the British Museum Great Court. Silver section. This is an anodized silver. Really nice, I have to say. I'm not sure. I don't think you will need to polish this. I haven't needed to polish it so far. A chrome section. I think it's chrome plated section. And because I have not seen this tarnish. I should probably ask Feng and James at Onoto what that is, but I'm pretty sure it's a chrome plated section. And then the nib there is an Onoto number 7 size fine nib, cartridge converter, but a really, really nice pen. But again, that cap weighs almost, I would say, probably as much as the body. So you really are not going to want to post that at all. The next pen is a custom-made pen, and this is from Eric at Atelier Lusso. And I think this was back in 2018, 2017 that I bought this. Has this hammered style clip. Eric was making these sort of almost like, I want to say like a saber or a teardrop type of a clip. This clip is a little bit sharp, so I wouldn't want to put it into a dress shirt, but then again, I wouldn't also be carrying my pens in a shirt pocket either. I value my pens, so I will put them in pen cases and carry those around with me. But this is in a beautiful material, and this is a diamond nebula. The material is actually a diamond dust or diamond cast material from Mackenzie Penworks. And amazing, I was actually having, I think it was 6 or 7 pens made by Eric at the time. And he was just off to, I believe it was the San Francisco Pen Show, and for the 2nd year running. And he had this pen on his website, and I looked at it and I said would be interested in that pen. He said, well, I'm actually taking it to the pen show because I've made a bunch of them, and I'll be selling them there. And strange enough, he came back, and this one was still on his website. And I messaged him and said, do you still have that pen? And he said, yeah. You know what? It's something strange. He said, it didn't sell. He said, I don't know why. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy it. So I did, and I'm glad I did, because I do like diamond cast material. It does have I think it's a bronze ring here. It does have a bit of a big step here on the base of the section. Not everybody is a fan of that. Personally, it doesn't bother me. Has a number 6 size Yovo nib. It's a cartridge converter. You could post the cap. It doesn't post deeply, and it makes it massively long. So I typically will not post that cap. But if you wanted to, a lot of Eric's pens, you can post those caps. And then the last pen inked up here this week is a cheaper pen, I should say. And this is a Jinhao X159. Now, I remember Jinhao X159 going through a number of phases. First phase was they had a metal pen. The second phase, they had again, a metal pen, but with a resin coating to it, with a number 6 size nib. And then they made this one, which was just a pure resin pen, but with a number 8 size nib. So this really is a bit of a knockoff to the Montblanc 149. It looks very similar in size, in diameter. Obviously the trims are different, and you've got a Jinhao there. But this is a £6 or euro or dollar pen with a number 8 size steel nib. It's a cartridge converter. It's not a piston like a Montblanc 149, but that cap will also post quite deeply and securely. I actually find these are not bad pens. If you want a cheap pen, if you like writing with fountain pens, but you're worried about maybe an expensive pen being stolen at work, buy a bunch of these. I did. And not that I'm worried about pens being stolen at work. I don't think I would have pens stolen at work. But you never know. And like a £6 pen, you really cannot sort of go wrong with that. So, and worst case scenario, if it comes out of the box and it's quite scratchy, you could always actually learn how to tune a nib with micro mesh. So there you have it. So I decided I would ink up that one this week as well. So that's my currently inked pens for this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen inked up this week is the London Pen Company NONA 14. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And I have to say I do like this pen. Sean has, for the most part, used Bock nibs, and I think maybe he might have used a Yovo at one point. I know definitely he uses mostly Bock, but I do like these. So this is a London Pen Company NONA 14, and it is, I believe it's a broad nib on here, and it's a steel Bock nib. But I do like that. And then the ink in here is Kaen Dash. And it's vibrant green. Now, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Kaen Dash. I only have 2 of their inks. I've got the vibrant green, and I have, I think it's called the electric orange. And I really would like more inks. But I can't get them on Amazon. Not many UK retailers actually sell Kaen Dash inks. So, and also the ones on Amazon are pretty much like the black ink, which is around about £30. So I'd like to have some more of them, but I will have to have a look. I do like the bottles. I think, let me show you the bottle. I'm just going to unscrew the cap here. This is the bottle. So it actually sits at an angle here. And then you can actually, it has a very heavy metal cap, but you can see here that that bottle is a nice angle. I do like the bottles. I think they're really, really good. And I think the ink's not bad as well, at least the inks that I've tried so far. But I would like to try and get a few more if I could. The next pen inked up is the Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the red marble. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is a pen that I really love writing with. I love writing with this ink as well. So this is the Visconti, and it's the Medici Il Magnifico in the red marble. And it is a medium, and it's a 23 cat palladium nib. And then the ink in here is Pelican, Edelstein, and it's Star Ruby. And I do love this ink a lot. And I think I've got 3 bottles of it. And one bottle is getting rather low. So I will soon only have 2 bottles. But that is an ink that I like a lot. It was an ink of the year, so unless Pelican actually make it into a regular ink, I may not be able to get any more bottles of this unless I can buy one on the used market. This ink was typically given out at the... It was sold, but it was also given out at the Pelican hubs in 2019, I believe. The next pen inked up is a Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the Lapis Lazuli. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And I have switched inks more recently in this, and I've put in this coloured ink, and I do like it. I didn't think I would like a light blue in this pen, but this is the Visconti. Again, it's a Medici Il Magnifico, and it's in the Lapis Lazuli, and it's a medium, but this time it's an 18 karat gold, the newer in-house nib at Visconti. And then the ink in here is Diamine Aqua Lagoon. But this is quite a nice coloured ink. I do like it a lot. I've always liked this ink. I've gone through, I think, about 4 bottles of this ink in the past. It's a brilliant ink. The next pen inked up is the classic Pens LB5 in the Kouseki. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And I have changed the colours of inks that I use in this quite a lot. I used to use Pilot Washizuku Sakushi. I haven't used that for some time in this pen now. This is the classic Pens LB5 Kouseki. And it is a medium, although it's a Western, it's an Asian medium, not Western medium. And it's a 21 karat gold nib because it is a Sailor King of Pen nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine Ochre, which I have to say is really my go-to brown ink nowadays. I do like that ink a lot. The next pen inked up is another classic Pens LB5, but this is the Kaen. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is a beautiful red ink, and it's a red ink I always, or mostly, ink up in this pen. So this is the classic Pens LB5 Kaen, and again a medium Asian nib and a 21 karat gold nib from Sailor on the King of Pen nib, and the ink in here is Mont Blanc. I'm sure you can guess this if you've watched these videos before with this pen. Corn Poppy Red, and it's just a red that I like a lot. I find it flows really well. The only thing I don't like about Corn Poppy Red is it goes on a little bit more of a brighter red and then dries a more darker red, and that maybe is the only thing that I don't like about that ink. I would prefer it would stick as that brighter red. I've not tried the newer Mont Blanc, is it Monza ink? Monza Red. Maybe I should try that, but that looked a little bit washed out when I last looked at that ink. The next pen inked up is the Visconti St Basil. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is actually using exactly the same ink as the ink in the LB5 Kaen. So this is the Visconti St Basil. It's a medium and it's a 23 karat palladium nib, and then the ink in here is Mont Blanc Corn Poppy Red. But I do like that ink. It just is one of my favourite red inks. A few others are Diamine Poppy Red, Diamine Wild Strawberry, Pilot Washizuku Momiji is another good one that I like. KWZ Thief's Red as well is another one. The next pen inked up is the Onoto British Museum Great Court. So we'll do another ink swatch. And I have to say that this is a beautiful writing pen. So this is the Onoto, and it is the British Museum. And I need to just double check this because I think it's almost out of ink. I'm just going to just flush the converter a little bit there, or prime the converter. And it's a Great Court. And it's a fine, and it's an 18 karat gold nib, but it is running low on ink. About a quarter of a converter there left. And then the ink in here is Venvistus, and it is aqua. Actually, it's actually a C there with a QUA, aqua di Spargi. Which also looks very similar, if not identical, to Visconti Turquoise. I'd love to find out which ink manufacturer each of those are using, because I'm pretty sure it's the same company. Could even just be Diamine, who knows? Maybe I can have a look at... there's a bunch of turquoisey inks that Diamine have. Maybe I can actually have a look and see. Is it Havaso Turquoise, I think, or Navaso Turquoise that Diamine have? I think they also just have a turquoise as well. So I'll have to check that one out. The next pen inked up is the Onoto Magna Carta. We'll do another ink swatch here. And this is just a grey that I like. I'm not really into black inks because I find black inks are not black, and they're more of a charcoal colour. A lot of grey inks are graphite light grey colours, which again I'm not really partial to. But this one is, I'd say, just right. So this is the Onoto Magna Carta. And it is a fine, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is Diamine Earl Grey. And I think maybe that's another reason why I do like this ink, is that not only is it a darker grey ink, but it's Earl Grey, and I like Earl Grey tea. So for me, I think that's a good match of name and ink colour. The next pen inked up is this Atelier Lusso Carina in the Diamond Nebula. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now, this is an ink that was gifted to me by a friend. It is a very viscousy, sheening ink. So the pen here is an Atelier Lusso Carina in the Diamond Nebula. It's a broad, and it's a still Yovo nib. And then the ink in here is an Art from the Heart. So Art from the Heart, which is a UK retailer. It's a exclusive for Art from the Heart. It's a Diamine, and it's called Fluster Cluck. And it is a very deep blue, but it will actually turn a little bit sort of colour. I'm not sure if you're going to see it here on Oxford Optic paper, but you get some very good sheen on this ink. I'm starting to see a little bit around here, but it actually changes colour completely. It becomes a little bit more of a purpley, greeny, browny colour, and not like a red, like a massive red sheen that you might see on some blue inks. And then the last pen it inked up is a Jinhao X159. And a number of people in the past have said that I only go for expensive pens, and that isn't true. I've got Twisbys, I've got Lamy Safaris, Lamy All Stars. I've got Benus. I have lots of other pens. I've got Jinhao's. So this is, I like the pen. I like the size of this pen. This is the Jinhao X159. It has a number 8 size steel nib. So it actually says F for fine, but I would say it's a little bit between a fine and a medium, more medium. And then the ink in here is Diamine Oxblood. And this is only a £6 or €6 or $6 pen. I bought 6 of them, 3 in the burgundy red and 3 in a dark blue, which is almost black. Some of the nibs write really nice out of the box, and some of them are quite scratchy. But they are, at that price, they're good pens to experiment actually tuning a nib with, micromesh with, and maybe even trying to make them write wetter with a brass shim. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. We have a London Pen Company Nona 14 in a broad steel nib inked up with Caran d'Ache Vibrant Green. We have a Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the red marble in a medium 23 carat palladium nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Star Ruby. We have a Visconti Medici Il Magnifico in the Lapis Lazuli in a medium 18 carat gold nib inked up with Diamine Aqua Lagoon. We have a Classic Pens LB5 in the Kouseki in a medium 21 carat gold nib inked up with Diamine Ochre. We have a Classic Pens LB5 Kaen in a medium 21 carat gold nib inked up with Mont Blanc Corn Poppy Red. We have a Visconti St Basil in a medium 23 carat palladium nib inked up with Mont Blanc Corn Poppy Red. We have a Onoto British Museum Great Court in a fine 18 carat gold nib inked up with Venvistus Aqua di Spargi. We have an Onoto Magna Carta with a fine 18 carat gold nib inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. We have an Atelier Lusso Carina Diamond Nebula in a broad steel nib inked up with Art from the Heart, Diamine Flustercluck. And we have a Jinhao X159 in a fine steel nib inked up with Diamine Oxblood. So there you have it. That's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.